All right.
Good Yontif, everyone. We're so glad you're here. Barry Tinkleman. Barry Tinkleman?
I think he's like in that room.
Are we on? Okay. Yep. So welcome everyone to the Molish Sanctuary, and welcome all of you who are watching us on live stream. We're so glad that you're here in person and that you're here remotely, and that we can be together in a community in a way that's safe and gives people the options that they need. We're going to begin this morning's service in our festival prayer book on page 149. Please join with me in this opening reading. Today, we complete and begin the reading of the Torah. We rejoice in the truth Torah brings to our people. Its teachings are eternal and inexhaustible. They are life-giving and life-renewing. Today, we give thanks for the precious gift of Torah. We love it for the depth of its humanity and revere it for its mysterious power. May our study of Torah enrich our lives and bring gladness to our people. If you're with us in the sanctuary and you don't have a festival prayer book, I believe there are some more on the cart at the entryway if you'd like to get up and retrieve one. We're going to continue welcoming this Simchat Torah day with the singing of Matovu, page 154.
Matovu, Ochalecha Yaakov, Bishkenatecha Yisrael. Matovu, Ochalecha Yaakov, Bishkenatecha Yisrael. Kelei Matovu Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Kelei Matovu Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Kelei Matov, Kinei Matov, Yalalalalalalalalala. Kinei Matov, Kinei Matov, Yalalalalalalalalala. Kinei Matovu Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Kinei Matovu Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Page 156, we join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah, uvaravo nikavim nikavim, chalulim chalulim. Galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chvodecha, she'im yipateach echad mehem, o yisatem echad mehem, אי-אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך, ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Page 158, O God, the soul you have given me is pure.
Elohai neshama shenatata bi tachorachi. 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 Elohai neshama shenatata bi tachorachi.
On Sukkot and Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah, we celebrate the miracles of the harvest, of the changing of the seasons. And yet, as Jews, we acknowledge that there are miracles we encounter every single day. And so we join together responsively with the cantor beginning on page 160 with Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessings for the miracles we experience each and every day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sachar bibina, l'chavchin ben yom uben laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokach haaretz al kamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten laya'ev koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir sheina meinai, utnuma me'afapa.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sha'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sha'asani bat chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sha'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara. Amen. At the top of page 166, we thank God for the mitzvot that make our lives holy and special, including, especially on this day, the mitzvah of engaging with words of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. So we're on the tail end of Sukkot. This is the 8th day. Woo.
Yep.
This is the 8th day. For those of you at home, it just started to rain. This is the 8th day of a 7-day festival. So it's sort of like the tail end. So we're kind of still in Sukkot, and I want to bring up something interesting. So a lot of you come to services a lot and come to Torah study a lot, and so this part won't be new, but I want to just review it. What does the lulav and the etrog represent? What do they represent? What? The heart and the body, says Steve. So this is the heart, right? And we actually hold it in the left hand when we want to shake it, because that's closer to the heart. And when you say the body, how is this a body? So right, so this is like the spine, and these are shaped, if you look closely, that the myrtle is shaped like eyes, and the willow is shaped like lips, very thin lips, but lips. And the idea is that, so why are we shake it together, and what does that represent when we shake it all around? God is everywhere, but it's the body that's pointing us in all directions. And the reason I wanted to mention this on Simchat Torah of all times is because one of the things that I think we forget is the ways in which Judaism has in place opportunities for us to physically embody our tradition. Right? We do a lot of thinking up here. We do a lot of talking here. We do a lot of reading. But we're actually people with bodies too. And some people, that's how they roll. Like, that's how they engage in the world. They tend to be dancers and athletes and other kinds of people who build things. But when we gather and we read Torah from beginning to end, we are actually called to dance with the Torah. Dancing is a way that we say, this is more than what we do just with our mouths and our minds and our eyes and our books. That we live this out in all of our selves, and all of our body. And the blessings that we just finished, those were all blessings that seem to be about big theological ideas, but actually they're attached historically to things we do every morning to get our bodies ready for the day. And I think it's really important as we move into the autumn and into the winter, when we tend to get less physical and more staid, there's more stasis in our lives, in our homes, that we remember that Judaism offers us the opportunity to embody every aspect of Jewish living and Jewish ritual. So that is the teaching that I'm attaching to our La'asok B'divrei Torah. I hope that you will find some opportunities through this holiday and into the next months, even as the weather grows hopefully colder, to embody your Jewish tradition. We're going to continue on page 187 with Chatzi Kaddish. Please rise.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וחיי כל בית ישראל וגלקו בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יחי שם רבה מברך לעולם לעלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתקדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשו בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. Just a reminder, this is a special Baruch Hu melody for the Shmini Atzeret. Baruch Hu et Adonai המבורך, המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד.
Together on 190, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvorei choshech, Oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha barachamim, Uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit, Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, Kulam b'chochma asita, Mala ha'aretz kinyanecha, Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, Al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha sela, or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh hulanu mehera l'oro, Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer ha'me'orot. Ahava rabba ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu, chemla gedola v'teira chamalta aleinu. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. on account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life. Be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah.
Baka ereneinu b'toratecha, v'dabek libereinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yachet levavinu le'achava u'lira et shemecha, v'lo nifush, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel le'olam va'ed, ki b'shem kodshecha hagadol b'chanara b'atachtu nagila v'nismecha, nagila v'nismecha b'shuatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael bi'ahava.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem, kavod malchuto, le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated as we continue on page 196 with V'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים כאלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבדיך, ושילנתם לבדיך, ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Page 203. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. The entire world is but a narrow bridge. The most important thing is not to be afraid. Mi chamocha.
Okay, again, this special melody for these holidays. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'chodesh, nor tehilot ozefele, Shrakadasha Shabahu Gawalim Lashem Kol Sifat Hayam Ya תחת כולם חודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, עובדיכנו מיהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Before we begin the Amidah, I want to draw your attention to page 208, and you'll see that in the Gevurot, where we have for months and months been saying, Morid Hatal, God, you're the one that brings dew each morning that helps our agricultural cycles to continue. We now take that step over into the next season with this day of Shmini Atzeret, and so we will revert to our winter version of the prayer, which includes Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem, calling God the one who sends the wind and the rain, which of course we need in those winter months. And it sounds like our prayers were
answered.
We're presaged. So this is really a core of this holiday, is the idea that now we pray for rain, because now is the time when rain is necessary. Especially, we're really talking about the climate in the land of Israel. We continue with the Amidah, page 204.
Baruch atah Adonai Elokeinu Velokei Avoteinu Veimoteinu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Velokei Yaakov, Elokei Sarah, Elokei Rivka, Elokei Rachel, Velokei Leah, האל הגדול כגיבור וכנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחייך כל הטרף להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחייך כל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. יחמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמנת לך חיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. Page 212. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמם ברום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך הולך הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדונינו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד כה אלוקינו, כה אבינו כמלכנו, כמשיחנו וכו ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוקי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושפחך אלוקינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue on page 214. אתה בחרתנו מכל העמים, אהבת אותנו ורצית בנו, ורוממתנו מכל הלשונות, וקידשתנו במצוותיך, וקרבתנו מלכנו לעבודתך, ושמך הגדול והקדוש עלינו קראת. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון, את יום חג השמיני, חג העצרת הזה, זמן שמחתנו, מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים. Together, you have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, Adonai our God, you have given us feasts of gladness and seasons of joy, this festival of Atzeret Simchat Torah, season of rejoicing, to unite in worship and recall the exodus from Egypt. One does not travel to Jerusalem, one returns, one ascends, the road taken by generations, the path of longing on the way to redemption. One brings rucksacks stuffed with memories to each mountain and each hill. In the cobbled white alleyways, one offers a blessing for memories of the past which have been renewed. One does not travel to Jerusalem, one returns. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, ya'aleh v'yavo v'yizacher zichronenu, v'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael lefanecha, letova u'lechein u'lechesed u'lerachamim, u'lechayim u'leshalom, b'yom chag hashmini, chag ha'atzeret hazeh, zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova, ufokdenu vo livracha, v'hoshienu vo l'chaim. This day remember us for well-being. This day bless us with your nearness. This day help us to a fuller life. We continue silently from page 218 through page 229. When your silent prayer is complete, we invite you to be seated.
Simchat Torah Chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael amecha Barecheinu Yotzereinu kolanu kechad be'or panecha ki be'or panecha natat lanu Adonai Eloheinu Torat chayim v'achavad chesed u'tzedak u'veracha v'rachamim v'chayim v'shalom v'tov b'einecha לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל
In a moment, we're going to continue with Hallel, a traditional part of our Simchat Torah celebration. And I just wanted to draw your attention to, if you arrived a little late, after Hallel, we're going to be doing the Yizkor portion of our service. And some families, unfortunately, have a list of people they want to remember. So to help you make sure that you share the names of everyone you intend to share, if you need to write down the names you're going to read aloud, I invite you to go grab an index card and a pen from the display case out front. Also, if you came in late, just a note that the prayer books that we're using for today are our festival and weekday prayer books, which can be found on the cart. So if you're having trouble with the pages, that's because you're maybe not in the right book. We're going to continue in the festival and weekday prayer book on page 294 with Hallel. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likru et ha'halel.
Praise Adonai, all you nations. Extol God, all you peoples. For great is God's steadfast love toward us. The faithfulness of Adonai endures forever.
And hodu l'Adonai ki tov. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov. Ki l'olam chasdo. Ki ברוך הבא בשם אדוני, ברכנוכם מבית אדוני. אלי אתה וידך, אלוהי ארוממך. הודו לאדוני, כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו.
You may be seated. You may be seated. We continue on page 310. Yizkor. Adonai ma adam v'teda'ehu. Adonai, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath. Our days are as a passing shadow. We come and go like grass, which in the morning shoots up renewed, and in the evening fades and withers. You cause us to revert to dust, saying, "Return, O mortal creatures." Would that we were wise, that we understood where we are going. For when we die, we carry nothing away. Our glory does not accompany us. Mark the wholehearted, and behold the upright, they shall have peace. Adonai, you redeem the soul of your servants, and none who trust in you shall be desolate.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, binot asher betzeni, al mei meduchot yenaleini, nafshi yeshuv, nafshi yeshuv, yanachin b'mag letzedek, leman shemo. Kom kivelech b'getz al mavet, lo yerara ki ata imadi, shiftecha umeshantecha, shiftecha umeshantecha, hema yenachamuni. Taruch lefadai shulchan neged tzorerai, dishantu v'sheben roshi, kosir ravayam, ach tu v'chesed, ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני, לברך ימים.
On page 313 is Psalm 121. And I wanted to share with you the reason that I love this psalm. Sometimes in life we feel at a loss. That phrasing is not an accident. We feel loss. And there's nothing to answer it, nothing clear. Sure, people offer words of comfort. They want you to know that you're there for them, that they're there for you. But there's that silent place where there's just yearning. And this psalm calls us to lift up our faces, to look beyond what is around us, to look way, way off into the distant mountains. Because help may seem far. It may seem too far away for us to even see. But yet we lift our chin and stretch our eyes and look toward the beyond. For that is the place from which comfort will come. Esa enai el haharim, me'ayin yavo izri. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian. Adonai is your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm. God will guard your life. Adonai will guard your going and coming, now and forever. Adonai yishmor tzeitcha uvoecha, me'ata v'ad olam.
Shiviti Adonai, lenagdi et avid, ki mini bolemot. Shiviti Adonai, lenagdi et avid, ki mini bolemot. לכן סומך ליבי ויוקל כבודי אף בשרי ישכון לבטח אף בשרי ישכון לבטח.
Each of us comes together into this space physically, virtually, with a lineage of memories. There's so much to say about a life, any one life. We could never stop talking. But today we bring forth their names. If you have names of people for whom you are here for Yizkor, people you are remembering today, we invite you to kind of raise your hand and let me know, and I will call on you to read those names aloud. And this way, everyone's going to do it from their seat. If you're at home, please say the names aloud of anyone that you're thinking of. Barry. Thank you. Gary? Thank you. Linda and Barry, do you have names? Thank you. Lorna?
Daddy, my mother, Elsie Schwartz, father, Maxwell Schwartz, mother-in-law, Marcia Daddy, father-in-law, Louis Daddy.
Thank you, Lorna. Barishes?
Our son, Bruce Scott, my parents, Shirley and Gillespie, Laura's mother, Bill Barish, my grandparents, Bella and Samuel Barish, and the rest are all friends. Kay, Dave, Sid, yeah, sure, Maxine Wolfowitz, Janet, Marcia Black, Jackie, the Shikers, and all the children are professional friends.
Thank you.
That's Abby Patterson. My parents, Joel F. Cohen and Charles Eastman Cohen. My in-laws, Irene S. Harrison and Harry J. Harrison. William Thorpe, Esther Wolf, Robert Wolf, Laura and Brian Hill.
Thank you, Sue. Claire?
Stacey parents, Bill and Diane Lee. My parents, Rabbi Alton Village, and my brother, Mikey Hendricks.
Thank you. Mikey, Claire?
Max Kaplan, Lillian Krasenstein, Morris Krasenstein, Sylvia Krasenstein, Zvika Shilikov, Sanford Brody, Mark Sladen, Dorothy Kaplan, Matthew Ruben Rosenstein, and Arne Lee Krasenstein.
Thank you. Rini?
Vivian Sam Weiss, Glenn Cohen, Lottie Lily Glassman, Shirley and Stanley Schuster. Dear friends, Marcia and Jan Black, Jackie Lou Shrevitz, Ed Besson, Summer Griffin, and Lisa Lindsay.
Thank you. Art?
Sarah Kate Burke, Ruth and Martin Davis, Denise and Ernest Lawrence, Ruth and Mary First, Gail Davis, Robert Burton, Gail Kennedy, Lawrence Simpson.
Thank you, Art. Rhoda, Chuck?
Michael Jones, Edmund Sitar Memorial, my father, mom, and
Thank you.
My parents, Edward Riva and Sophie Riva.
Thank you. Linda?
My husband, Harold Preston. My parents, Sylvia and Gary Temple-Beth. My in-laws, Jack and Lillian Preston, my dear aunts. Greenfield, Westbeth and Ryan Beveridge, and Sig and Ann Cohen.
Thank you. Evelyn?
Hope and Theodore Fair, Lena and Hyman Kurtzman, Kate and Albert Fair, David Miller and Sarah Fryland.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Olga?
Olga?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Steve?
My parents, Adrian and Ethel Chesson. My wife's parents, Allison and Ryan H. Keller. My sister-in-law, Margaret E. Bauer. My grandparents, Rebecca and Samuel Chesson, Jake and Jenny Becker. My wife's grandparents, Rose and Pepper Savage. My aunts and uncles, Simon Becker, Max Becker, and Wiener, Isidore Chesson, Benjamin Chesson, Leah Levin, my cousin Joel.
Yes.
Remember, I'd like to have one more person, our friend, Will Gibson.
Thank you.
I'd like to remember my father, Boris Yofe, my stepfather, Vladimir Mins, my grandparents, Rachel and Isai Kaplan, and Anna Trofimov.
I'd like to remember my grandfather, Murray Tornberg, my grandfather, Herbert Cohn, my grandmother, Renee Tornberg, my grandmother, Leela Cohn, my great-grandmother, Ruth Bondi, my great-grandfather, Robert Bondi, my great-uncle, Robert Bondi, and my great-grandfather, Robert H. Bondi, my uncle, Eric Tornberg, my great-uncle, Lou Schlanger, my great-grandmother, Florence Schlanger, my great-grandfather, Jack Schlanger, my great-grandparents, William and Pauline Tornberg, and members of my husband's family, Bessie Hoffman, Joe Hoffman, David Fryer, and Minnie Fryer. You know, the word Yizkor has the one of those, it's like most Hebrew words, it has a tripartite root. It's a word that shows up in different forms, but always has the same three letters in order: the Zayin, the Chaf, and the Resh. Zachor, Yizkor, Zocher. It's about memory. I was thinking last night as we were reading the end of Deuteronomy, how that section of our Torah is really just a whole book devoted to helping us remember to remember. It's a message to each of us that our history is important, that where we come from matters, and knowing about it and acknowledging it, even with its flaws and its benefits, helps us move forward in an authentic way into the future. When we look back on the lives of those we've lost, we are called to do the same. What is the history that their lives laid out before us? How has it become our story too? And then the Torah rolls over. As grief abates and time passes, sometimes grief doesn't abate, but time passes, and we move on. We move on into Bereshit, into the beginning of the new again. And we are ever changed. In the beginning is a different beginning without them. The Torah calls us both to look backwards and to look forwards, both to remember the last of our days and to find room to return to the beginning again. We join silently in Yizkor on page 316. in the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as they live, we too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim, page 318.
El Malei Rachamim, Shofchein B'Maromim, Hametzei Menucha Nechana, Tachat Kanfeicha Shechina, Im HaKadoshim HaTahorim, Kazachar Charakim Uzakirim, Leneshmot Yakeredu, Shechal Chol Olamam, Balech Rachamim, Yastireim Basadar Kanafav Leolamim, V'yitzrur b'yitzrur, Achayim et nishmatam. Shalom al mishkavam
Together, fully compassionate God on high, to our loved ones who have entered eternity, grant clear and certain rest with you in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold them in the embrace of your wings. Secure their souls in eternity. Adonai, they are yours. They will rest in peace.
Amen.
We're going to continue our service with Aleinu, and I'd be grateful if the Raibas could come help us open the ark. As we remain standing, we're on page 322.
Aleinu l'shabech l'Adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא עשנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא עשנו חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל כמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שכונות השמיים ויוסד הארץ ומשה ויקראו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים. O Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efezulato, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום, השיבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר וחי אדוני למלך לכל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמעו אחד. Thank you.
I invite you to remain standing as we turn to page 334. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We remember the recently departed from our community whose families are still in the Shloshim period, the first 30 days of mourning. Amanda Francis Burrows, Frank Burstein, Sam Dion, Bernice Jacobs, Marvin Ratner, Evelyn Silver, and Bernard Wyman. And I invite those who are gathered to share any additional names of anyone for whom you're saying Kaddish this morning. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be an abiding blessing forevermore, as we join together in the words of Kaddish, page 334. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach pirutei, Be'amlich malchutei, B'chayachon uvyomechon, Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach le'olam ula'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, Shemei Kudusha Brichu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, indeed to all the world, and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. So I want to invite you to be seated because you've been standing for so long, but we're going to stand up again because it's Kiddush. So if you need to sit, please do. I'm going to go get the Kos Kiddush, and Cantor is going to lead us in the festival morning Kiddush, page 341.
Okay, page 341, we begin. אלו מועדי אדוני מקראי קודש אשר תקראו אותם במועדם וידבר משה את מועדי אדוני אל בני Israel. This is the appointed seasons of Adonai, the sacred days that you shall proclaim at their appointed times. And Moses declared the appointed seasons of Adonai to the people of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. And before our closing song, I know it's a weird order, but we're going to join together in Motzi, and then when our closing song is over, you can come get some bread. Please, let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. What are we going to sing?
All right, on page 399, there is a beautiful section that says 3 festivals. So there is a song in the middle that talks about Sisu v'simchu, Simchat Torah, utnu chavod la Torah, rejoice and celebrate on Simchat Torah, and give honor to the Torah, page 399. And it goes like this. Sisu v'simchu, Simchat Torah, utnu chavod la Torah, Sisu v'simchu, Simchat Torah, utnu chavod la Torah, sisu v'simchu b'simchat Torah, utnu chavod la Torah, sisu v'simchu b'simchat Torah, utnu chavod la Torah. 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 Sisu v'simchu b'simchat Torah, utnu chavod la Torah.
Chag Sameach, everyone. Just a reminder, this coming Sunday at 11:30 on the front patio, we are inviting all the pets in our community to receive a blessing. We hope that you'll come and hang out with Jake Glassman, because he's going to be there, I'm pretty sure. Please come get some challah and have a wonderful, please return your books to the cart, and Chag Sameach, everyone.
Chag Sameach.